Talk Kentucky. I'm your host and moderator, Sherelle Roberts, and we're here with the Let's Talk team. It's Susan Mills, Kim Dixon, and Lisa High on Friday.
Yes!
Woo-wee, so glad it's Friday. And boy, this is the culmination of one heck of a sports week, I feel like. And I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I feel like we're going to have a coach soon because Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart has maybe named the BYU coach Mark Pope to become the next coach for UK. So everything's being worked out still, okay? But according to multiple reports, the former Cat is expected to sign a 5-year deal at $5.5 million per season, which would make him the 6th highest paid coach in the country. Now, he has led BYU to 2 NCAA tournament appearances. He capped off his last season going 23-11 with a first-round appearance in the tournament. And if you were made before 1990, you remember that he was a member of the 1996 Untouchables team led by former head coach Rick Pitino, and they won the national championship. So, the internet has a lot to say about everything that's going on. First up, Matt Jones. Here's what Matt Jones has to say. Mark Pope is very smart. Maybe the smartest dude to ever play here, for real. He has a great offense and he loves this place. Plus, he was a part of the greatest team in school history. Assuming this is finalized, I'm going to pull for him as hard as I can. He deserves that.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Starting out positive. Then Adam Edelin, a businessman and politician, gets into the fray, and he says, not even the most vociferous of cow haters would have traded him for Mark Pope. I can't decipher whether this is arson or incompetence. Hashtag BBN.
Ouch.
He woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And then in true Rex Chapman form, he came in with the smackdown. He said, that pocket of BBN doesn't realize that BBN wasn't called BBN until Mark and those teams coached by Rick became a thing at the advent of the internet. That's when it was shortened to BBN. Mark Pope and his teammates literally started BBN.
There we go.
So, listen, you know Rex is always going to come out swinging.
He's the best. I love him so much.
Okay, ladies, so what do we think about this? Now, I don't know much about this Mark Pope guy because, again, everything I know about basketball I learned from Dylan Goday and Mrs. Calipari. You know what I mean? And the class I took in college, I took a basketball class and I was terrible at it. But we've done a little research. Susan's boo, Cameron Mills, actually played with Mark Pope, right?
Yeah, won the championship with him. You know what? He cannot say enough great things about Mark Pope. He is, like Matt Jones alluded to, he is so smart. He reads a book a day. He was a Rhodes Scholar candidate. He was in his last year of medical school at Columbia University when he decided, you know what? I want to coach. And so I know a lot of Kentucky fans aren't going to be like super excited, maybe like, you know, about this, but he is an inspired hire.
Yes, he is.
He is wanting what's best for Kentucky.
Yes.
And we appreciate Cameron because he gave us a little cheat sheet with some facts that we could talk about.
Yeah.
But evidently, so Mark Pope played for Rick Pitino for those 2 years, and again was on that 1996 championship team. Now I'm wondering. What's going to be with the NIL thing? I've heard a lot of rumors about that. If he's going to be able to pull off this NIL thing, or if the NIL thing is going to be set for him already. That's something that people are talking about. And then they're comparing him, instead of comparing him to Cal, comparing him to Danny Hurley.
I thought that's really interesting. You know, when I spoke to Cameron about it, he said, you know, if we kind of look at it, and these numbers are just kind of, they don't mean a lot to me, but so Pope's BYU record, Brigham Young, was 110-52. That's .679. Okay, Danny Hurley's record before UConn was 151-105, .668. So the two aren't very, you know, off in numbers. And so I think it just goes to show if a university puts its resources towards the program, you can create a Hall of Famer.
Yes, and towards the right coach. And UConn believed in Hurley, and look what's happened with that. And this is the same. This is very similar. Very passionate new coach for UK. I feel like we needed a Pope to bless our team. So that's where I'm at with it.
That's a good one.
Oh, I like
May
that.
the blessings come now.
Bring it on.
Make it rain.
So, that's so funny. I bet you people are going to start wearing Pope hats to the games, Lisa.
Oh, what a good idea.
But yeah,
Oh.
I think this is one of the things, because it's not settled, fully settled, that's why the internet is going in so hard. But I hope, like that comment from Adam Edelin was not an aberration. There were a lot of people on the internet saying, well, we didn't want this guy. And I'm telling you, BBN, I love y'all, I love us, but we are so hard to please, Kim.
Absolutely. Very, very, very hard to please. This is a very exciting prospect, though. The Pope hat thing is really a great idea. I really think so. And this guy with 4 years of, well, 3.5 years of medical school, he should be able to diagnose basic illnesses and provide basic first aid.
Oh, well, there we go. There we go. So that's the latest on this. Everybody just keep standing by. We'll see what happens. But now let's talk a little bit of Mike Kidd-Gilchrist news. So Michael Kidd-Gilchrist has spent a lot of time in Frankfurt, bless his soul, during this legislative session. And he worked with those lawmakers to get a bill passed that's going to provide insurance coverage for people who want speech therapy for stuttering. So Kidd-Gilchrist has dealt with stuttering his entire life, and he has worked with these legislators to get this law passed because he said he was bullied, he went through so many things, and he's using his personal story to make sure that other kids don't have to suffer the way that he did. I'm wondering, do we have, Matt, do we have the sound bite? I didn't tell him I wanted it, but he knows how to work the magic. So we can hear
Back in 2010, I made a commitment to UK, but also the state, you know, and I'm fortunate enough to help the state and also adults like myself who stutter in the future, you know, like, and that's kids, you know. I weathered the storm, you know, of being picked on, teased, and such like that, you know. So I might just want to thank you guys, just being heard.
And that's, you know, how you use your fame. And that, too, is Coach Cal's legacy.
I mean,
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing. That's my husband had a problem with stuttering when he was young, and it really does affect a person. He started doing theater. That's he still calls it his speech therapy. But these kinds of things are really important to bring to light. You know, everyone deserves a chance to thrive, and it's difficult when you stutter.
Yeah.
And it takes a name like that sometimes to really
It sure
kind of
does.
put the influence behind it. And if you notice when he's talking, he's always done this when he talks. And it's kind of what, you know, how a lot of times we say or
Yes,
so or
yeah.
whatever. He bangs on the podium. So even during interviews you see with him, he is, you know, he's like that. And so I think it's like, it's interesting to bring those points, you know, to the top of the surface and kind of see, like, you know what, this guy is someone that the kids can relate to. And I think it's a really powerful thing.
Awesome. I wish it didn't take that to get recognized for people's issues, but I'm really glad that we have him.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the political system. It's the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, and it's the big name that gets the attention. So glad that he's using his big name for good. All right, so that's the whole sports show. Woo! I feel like we've had to become sports reporters this last week. Okay, everybody, stay with us. Coming up after the break, we're getting back to the girl talk. We're going to discuss this. Your kids' favorite snacks may be packed with dangerous lead. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Countdown Conversation. This is the part of the show where we discuss as many topics as we can in 6 minutes. Sometimes we make it, a lot of times we don't, but let's get to it. Okay, first up, here we go. Lunchables may be a nice treat for elementary school kids or kids like me who don't want to cook. But according to Consumer Reports, you might want to think twice because a nonprofit group tested these, did an independent test. What they found is that Lunchables, which you see here on the screen, those delicious little treats, are full of sodium, which I expected, but also they have high levels of lead, cadmium, and other heavy metal, which we know absolutely does a job on kids' brains and causes all kinds of developmental defects. I'm concerned, and you have a little one.
Yes, anytime you hear lead or mercury or anything like that, even as a pregnant mother,
Yeah.
you know, you're told to stay away from these things because it leads, you know, just down some horrible paths as far as like brain development, things like that. And so, you know, even like, you know, they've done a lot of studies on the baby food pouches, you know, that they use, and it's just, I don't know if our FDA isn't being as stringent on or strict on the guidelines of these things.
Yeah,
but
that's what
it's
Kim was
bothering
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
absolutely not being strict enough. I mean, in Europe, you go to Europe and you will find so many things that are banned that are perfectly legal in the U.S. And I want to do a little history lesson here. Y'all remember the Romans, right? You remember their aqueducts? Those were full of lead. And there are some scholars that believe that part of the downfall of Rome was the fact that they were drinking lead.
Huh.
So just want to say that this could be
Yeah.
a civilization buster as well.
Oh my gosh, wow.
And you know, this is, I mean, you know, and we feel like, you know, Lunchables is in the news a lot right now because of the sodium situation. Now this. What scares me is all the other knockoff brands that aren't being tested.
Yeah.
I mean, they're,
That's
you know,
true.
the focus is on the main brands right now. What about the knockoff brands? And a lot of people, they can't afford the Lunchables, so, you know, they get the second
The
brand.
Those are being
Lunchables.
tested.
The Scrunchables?
Yeah, I can't afford the Lunchables. Those are like $3, but those Smunchables are only $1.25, and those are the ones I get.
But you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
God only knows what's in these packs. And we all know that the FDA is not being stringent enough. So.
You're right, yeah. So guys, think twice, and I mean, I don't know what to say other than think twice. You got to consider what you're feeding your kiddos. Okay, up next, MTP, Meet the Parents. So a woman shared online that she has been dating a guy for 4 years, and his parents have been living with him since the pandemic, and he has not introduced her to them. He is from Bolivia, and his parents want him to marry a Catholic Bolivian girl and someone without children. She's divorced American and has 2 kids. And the boyfriend says that if he introduces her to them, the relationship will be over. She wants to know what to do. What, Kim?
This guy has 2 choices. He can introduce to the parents and then they break up because the parents don't approve, or he can choose to disown his family.
They live with him, though.
I mean, that includes disowning means you got to get out, and I'm going to date this woman now, or I'm going to move in with her.
Shoo, Lisa.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there is a third option that could be where they meet and they end up realizing that she really is a wonderful, beautiful person. They live happily ever after. That can be an option. In this situation, just hearing all the details, I feel like this is going to be a tough one. I feel like if he's not, if he's embarrassed or knows, you know, right out of the gate that introducing her to them is a bad idea, they need to end this relationship.
My thing is why would you waste 4 years of this woman's time?
Thank you.
If you knew that you were not going to be able to commit to her or take it to the next step. Like, men, you guys might have forever to do whatever you want to do, but women don't have time to waste.
Well, and why did the woman waste 4 years of her time?
you know
There's
why?
that.
Because we're in love.
Oh,
I'm gonna
I know.
change him.
Please.
Oh my God, you know how that goes, Susan.
Well, you know what? When I was in college, I actually dated a guy whose parents were from India, and so obviously I am so pasty white, and he was like, I will introduce you to my parents. I don't think my dad's gonna like you. And so I was like, oh, okay. And we had been dating for like 4 months. I went, I met his mother was phenomenal. His dad really didn't have too much to say to me, but he did it anyway because it was important for him.
Yes.
And eventually his dad warmed up, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
4 months, 4 years. Like,
Yes.
your guy actually had courage. I don't know what this
Yes.
other guy's
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
No.
Well, he had the courage to want you to meet them because that was important to him. It's clearly not important to this guy.
Yeah,
And he
it's
knew
not.
it was important to me. as well.
Precisely.
Break up with him, sis. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Break up
End
with him. Man. All right. Whew. Last but not least, okay, what are we going to do with our eclipse glasses? Because there's not an eclipse for another 20 years. So the city of Richmond says they'll take them. The city of Richmond says you can donate your unused or used or undamaged, now mind you, if they're ripped up, But if they're okay, they want you to drop them off at the Battle of Richmond Visitor Center or Richmond City Hall for repurposing. So yeah, I'm like, what are they gonna do with them? And then the first thing that popped in my head is that they're taking them at the Battle of Richmond. Are they going to be doing reenactments with the eclipse glasses? I don't get it.
That's it. Well, apparently, a lot of people are doing this. You can recycle your eclipse glasses because in other parts of the world, because a solar eclipse happens about every 18 months.
Yep.
And so we're just, well, a lot of times it's in remote areas, but if you send your glasses there, then the kids around the world can also have them.
There we go.
I like it.
See, Susan comes with the common sense. I'm like, maybe they're going to do a Civil War reenactment with the eclipse glasses.
I would like to see that.
I would too, actually. I'd pay money for it.
Oh man! Oh, I have a historic joke that I can't tell in the South. Okay, all right. Let's go to break, everybody. We're gonna have our guest after the break is going to talk to us about a murder mystery fundraiser. Stay with us. Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Kentucky. We're here with the Let's Talk team, and our guest at the table is Miss Rebecca Webb. She's here to talk about Bell's Bourbon and Belladonna and community-inspired Lexington. Welcome to the table.
Welcome.
We are so glad to have you here. So first and foremost, for our viewers who might not be familiar, what is community-inspired Lexington?
Community Inspired Lexington is a local nonprofit that was started in 2014 after the youth violence increased so much that year. And we work with youth and families to try to provide services and whatever they may need in order to decrease the violence and to help our families become more self-sufficient.
And one of the things that you guys see is, so what are some of the causes that you see leading to violence related to?
A lot of it, I think, the number one is poverty. What we do, I tell people, is we treat the symptoms. We can't eliminate the problem itself as a whole with poverty, but we can treat those things that we feel lead up to that, and poverty is the number one issue.
Well, and I know a lot of times with poverty, you hear about food insecurity, things like that. And so what are some of the biggest issues that you see in the Bluegrass surrounding things like that, such as food insecurity?
We work a lot out of the West End area. The St. Martin Village neighborhood has been very receptive for us coming in to be able to help in that community. And what we see is there's a large food desert in that area. A lot of it, I think, has to do with working class people who are having trouble with inflation. There's a large percentage, I think almost 50% of the people within that community are paying over 30% for housing alone, which contributes to the problem. So what we kind of feel like is if we can relieve some of that stress on those families by providing supplemental foods to them, then we can help decrease some of the problems that they have out there.
And the pressure and
Now,
stress.
how do your programs specifically combat the issues we see in our community here?
We have several programs. We do a monthly free food pantry, and that is out of the Whitney Young Park there in St. Martin Village. The neighborhood association donates us the space to do that. So we do monthly food distributions. We're working to improve that to where we could go to maybe weekly. We have a youth photography program. Yes.
That's cool.
Nice.
We take kids from, our youngest have been 8 years old. They have had 6 gallery exhibits around the city. They have been a
Wow.
part of the Lexington Camera Club exhibits over at the Loudon House twice.
And so
I love
so many
how
programs.
I love how the tentacles are out there and reaching into these communities. Now you have an exciting fundraiser coming up too. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we are going to be hosting on April 27th a murder mystery dinner theater called Bell's Bourbon and Belladonna. It's a 1928 speakeasy.
Yeah,
and
that's
that
fun.
occurs in the speakeasy.
Oh, I love it.
So it's going to be on April 27th. There'll be a silent auction, dinner at 6:30, and tickets are $70. So we have it up here on the screen. So if folks want to come out to this, you can check it out on the website. I'll tell you, Miss Webb, you guys are doing great work, and I'm so glad that you were able to come on today. Just share a little bit about what you're doing, because so many people don't realize that we have these food deserts and all of these issues in Lexington. So thank you for raising awareness.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
All right, everybody, stay with us. Coming up after the break, some sad news about the Golden Bachelor. Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Kentucky. So it's time for What in the World is Trending. This one's sad. We were all rooting for the Golden Bachelor, Gary, as he was going through his dating thing. His wife passed away. He wanted to find a new wife. We were all about it. We even had a party. So he did get married to Teresa. You may remember that. And you can see their picture here. So sad news, they're getting a divorce. Guys.
Did not take very long.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know what? She wasn't my pick.
Nope, mine either.
You know, I'm not Gary. I couldn't quite see the two of them together. And I just didn't get a feel, and I know nothing about the situation other than I partied the night that it premiered. That's all I
it's very sad.
But it's, you know.
So yeah, that's a little sad news. But we had fun today. Other than that, everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday.